Hmm. Finally, you want to get your life together. Maybe you want to start working out, or learn a new skill, or stop scrolling through TikTok at 2 a.m. while eating shredded cheese straight from the bag like some kind of feral raccoon. And lucky for you, there's this magical feeling that's going to solve all your problems. It's called motivation, and it's about as reliable as your Wi-Fi during an important Zoom call. You know the feeling. You're watching a YouTube video of some guy who wakes up at 4 a.m., does 100 push-ups, takes an ice bath, drinks a kale smoothie that looks like swamp water, and then builds a startup before breakfast. And suddenly you're hit with this overwhelming urge to completely transform your entire life starting right now. This feeling usually hits around 11 p.m. on a Sunday, which is perfect timing because you have work tomorrow and definitely won't regret staying up until 2 a.m. planning your new life. So you do what every motivated person does. You make a detailed plan. You're going to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for 30 minutes, journal your thoughts like you're the main character in an indie film, meal prep your entire week with containers that cost more than your car payment, learn Japanese, and somehow also have time to become a real estate investor. The plan is perfect. The vision is clear. You can practically taste success, and it tastes like overpriced oat milk lattes from that one coffee shop where the barista has a man bun and judges you for ordering a medium instead of a grande. Day one, absolutely crushing it. You wake up early. You feel amazing. You're basically a different person already. You take a progress picture in your bathroom mirror, and you're ready to post your transformation story on Instagram in approximately 3 days. You even text your group chat about how you're on that grind now, and nobody responds because it's 5:30 a.m. and they're asleep like normal people. Day two? Well, you're a little tired, but that's fine. You still do most of the routine. Maybe you skip the meditation, because honestly, sitting still and doing nothing is just boring, and you're pretty sure you can be mindful while doom scrolling on Twitter, X, which Elon definitely didn't ruin. That counts, right? By day 5, you've already convinced yourself that 5 a.m. wake-ups were invented by psychopaths and cult leaders, and the only Japanese you've learned is kawaii from anime, which you pronounce wrong anyway. But here's the good news. It's not your fault. Well, actually, it kind of is, but there's a scientific reason for it, which makes it feel less like a personal failure and more like a fun fact you can share at parties that nobody asked for. You see, motivation is just a feeling. And like all feelings, except hunger at 2 a.m. when all the good restaurants are closed, it goes away. Motivation is basically your brain's way of tricking you into starting something by flooding you with dopamine and optimism, like a really aggressive car salesman. But your brain can't keep that up forever, because if it did, you'd probably die from trying to achieve 47 goals simultaneously while also maintaining a Korean skincare routine that has more steps than assembling IKEA furniture. Here's what actually happens. Motivation spikes whenever you imagine the end result. You picture yourself with abs like Chris Hemsworth, speaking fluent Spanish like you're about to star in a telenovela, or finally being able to fold a fitted sheet, which is impossible, by the way. Anyone who claims they can do it is lying. But the second you start doing the actual work, reality hits harder than realizing you left your phone at home after you're already on the highway. And reality is boring, repetitive, and doesn't come with a motivational soundtrack or a montage sequence. This is where discipline comes in. And I know what you're thinking. Discipline sounds like something a military sergeant yells at you while you do burpees in the rain at 5 a.m. And you're right. That's exactly what it is. Except you're both the sergeant and the person doing burpees, which is somehow worse and better at the same time. It's like being your own worst boss, except you can't quit and you definitely can't report yourself to HR. Discipline is doing what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it. It's like waking up at 5 a.m. when every cell in your body is screaming, just 5 more minutes, which somehow always turns into 45 minutes, a panic shower, and skipping breakfast so you can stop at Starbucks and spend $4 on a coffee that you could have made at home for 50 cents. Discipline is the difference between people who have goals written in a $30 journal they bought from Target and people who actually achieve those goals. Think of motivation as fireworks on the 4th of July. It's flashy, it's exciting, everyone's impressed for about 30 seconds, and then it's gone and you're left cleaning up the mess while your neighbor's dog is having a mental breakdown. Discipline is more like a candle. It's not so exciting like your Instagram story, which usually gets 3 views, all from your mom using different accounts, but it actually keeps burning when you need it. But here's the problem. Your brain is really, really good at making excuses. I'm too tired. I'll start Monday. I didn't sleep well. Mercury is in retrograde. My horoscope said today's not a good day for physical activity. And the worst part is, some of these excuses are actually valid. You might genuinely be tired. The problem is, if you only do things when you feel like it, you'll do them about 3% of the time, which is coincidentally the same percentage of people who actually read the terms and conditions before clicking "I agree," and also the same percentage of your paycheck that's left after paying rent in any major city. So how do you actually build discipline? First, you need to understand that discipline isn't something you just have, like a good Wi-Fi or a decent credit score. It's something you build, like a muscle. Except this muscle makes you wake up early instead of making you look good in a tank top at the beach. Though, I guess it could do both if you're disciplined about going to the gym. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still working on just getting out of bed. Step 1 is to start embarrassingly small. And I mean really small. Like, so small that if you told someone this was your goal, they'd think you were joking. Don't commit to working out for an hour every day. Commit to doing 5 push-ups. Don't commit to writing the next great American novel. Commit to writing 1 sentence. The goal isn't to achieve something Instagram-worthy. The goal is to build the habit of doing what you said you'd do, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or conflicts with your plans to binge-watch that new Netflix series everyone is talking about. Once you do something for a few days in a row, your brain starts to notice a pattern. Oh, we do this now. This is part of who we are. And suddenly, not doing it feels weird, like forgetting to lock your car or leaving the house without your phone. This is called the consistency chain, and it's basically the only thing standing between you and becoming one of those people who casually brags at parties, "I haven't missed a workout in 6 months." Which, nobody asked, but good for you, I guess. Now please stop talking about your CrossFit routine, Brad. But here's the hard truth that nobody wants to hear. Especially not on TikTok, where everyone's selling you supplements and ice baths. Building discipline sucks. It's supposed to suck. That's literally the entire point. If it was easy and fun, it wouldn't be discipline. It would just be a hobby, like collecting Funko Pops or arguing with strangers on Reddit. The people who wait until something becomes easy before they commit to it are the same people who are still planning to start, and 5 years later keep wondering why everyone else is seeing results except them. The real magic happens when you stop relying on motivation and start relying on identity. Instead of saying, "I want to be someone who works out," you start saying, "I am someone who works out," even if you only did 5 push-ups, even if your workout was just walking to the fridge and back, but you took the long way around through the living room. The labels you give yourself matter because your brain is really bad at doing things that contradict your identity. It's the same reason why people who call themselves not a morning person will never become morning people, because they've already decided who they are, probably while hitting snooze for the 3rd time. Now, at some point, you're going to mess up. You're going to skip a day. You're going to break the consistency chain. Maybe you got sick. Maybe you had a genuinely crazy day at work. Or maybe you just really, really wanted to sleep in and watch The Office for the 47th time. And this is where most people take it as a sign from the universe that they're just not disciplined enough and give up entirely, usually while eating ice cream directly from the container at midnight. But here's the thing. Missing one day is not failure. Missing one day and then giving up completely is a failure. The difference between disciplined people and undisciplined people is not that disciplined people never fail. It's that when they fail, they just start again. Immediately. No drama, no, I will start fresh on Monday, or new year, new me nonsense. They just continue, like nothing happened. One trick that actually works is the 3-second rule. The moment you think about doing something, count down from 3 and then just start moving. 3, 2, 1, go. Don't think about how you feel. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't check your phone real quick. Just move. Your brain doesn't have time to come up with excuses in 3 seconds. Well, it does, but you're already moving by then, so it's too late. Another cheat code is to design your environment so that the disciplined choice is the easy choice. Kind of like how grocery stores put candy at the checkout line, except you're doing it to yourself on purpose for good reasons. Want to work out in the morning? Sleep in your workout clothes. Want to stop scrolling social media at 2 a.m.? Put your phone in another room, or better yet, in your car. Want to eat healthier? Stop buying junk food, and if you really want Doritos at 11 p.m., you'll have to put on real pants, not sweatpants, real pants, and go to the store. Trust me, if it's past 10 p.m. and you have to put on jeans, you're not going anywhere. Here's something nobody tells you. Once you build real discipline, you'll occasionally feel motivated again. And when that happens, you might be tempted to use that motivation to add 15 new habits to your routine. Sign up for 3 different apps, and maybe buy some expensive equipment that'll end up as a really expensive coat rack. Don't do it. I can guess you have already did it, multiple times. So why not share in comment box some of your hyper-motivated habits that you added to your routine, and also mention how long did they last. Motivation will convince you that you can do everything, like some kind of overconfident superhero. On the other hand, discipline knows you can only do a few things well. So when motivation shows up, just appreciate it. Let it make the work a little easier that day, and then let it leave when it wants to. You don't need it anymore. You're done being in a toxic relationship with your feelings. The beautiful thing about discipline is that it compounds, kind of like interest in a savings account, except you actually notice the returns and you don't need a finance degree to understand it. Every time you do the hard thing, it gets slightly easier. Not because the task changes. Push-ups are still push-ups and they still suck, but because you have changed. You become the type of person who does hard things. And eventually, you look back and realize you've been consistently doing something for months, maybe even years. And you didn't even notice because it just became who you are. And that's when the results show up, not because you were motivated, not because you had some special willpower gene or drank some sketchy supplement that an influencer sold you, but because you just kept showing up, day after day, even on the days you didn't want to. Especially on the days you didn't want to. The people you see with incredible results, the ones with six-pack abs, successful businesses, or who somehow learned to play guitar really well, didn't get there because they were motivated 24/7. They got there because they were disciplined. And then, once they had results, everyone assumed they were just naturally motivated or genetically gifted, which is hilarious if you think about it. It's like assuming someone's good at basketball just because they're tall, when in reality they've been practicing free throws for the last 10 years. So here's the final truth. Motivation is great for starting, but discipline is what finishes the race. Motivation gets you out of bed once. Discipline gets you out of bed for the next 1,000 days. Motivation makes you feel good about your goals while you're writing them in a fancy bullet journal. Discipline makes you actually achieve them. And the best part? Unlike motivation, discipline is actually under your control. You can't force yourself to feel motivated any more than you can force yourself to enjoy Mondays, or like your coworker Gary from accounting who won't stop microwaving fish in the break room. But you can force yourself to do 5 push-ups, and once you realize that one simple fact, everything changes. Gary, my friend, wherever you are, please don't get offended. So if you're waiting for motivation to strike before you start, you are gonna be waiting forever. And in 5 years, you'll be in the exact same place, except you'll be 5 years older, probably more tired, still living in the same apartment, and wondering why nothing ever changes while watching success stories on YouTube of people who just started. Or you could just start now, right now, not Monday, not January 1st, not after you finish this video. Start now. Do the smallest possible version of whatever you want to do. Not because you feel like it, not because the stars aligned or because Mercury finally got its act together, but because you decided to. That is discipline, and unlike motivation, it will actually stick around longer than your New Year's resolutions, which typically last about as long as a gallon of milk. Anyway, if this video helped you realize that waiting for motivation is basically the same as waiting for your phone to charge at 1% while you desperately need to call an Uber, then please donate a subscribe to fund the next video. And remember, motivation is a visitor that shows up unannounced, eats all your snacks, and leaves. Discipline is a roommate who pays rent on time and actually does the dishes. And you can't kick out your roommate just because they're boring and remind you to take out the trash. Hit the like button and share this video with each one of those lazy butts who are waiting from last 5 years to feel motivated. I will see you in the next video. Till then, stay disciplined, will you?